Welcome to another episode of Chally and the Boys. Don't call it a comeback. We never left. Something like that. I'm your host, Stephen
Okay.
Chalico. You can follow me and the boys on Twitter at ChallyATB, which I think I actually just kind of touched for the first time in quite some time, like yesterday during the game.
Okay.
And joining with me tonight are both the co-hosts, Will and Stash. Gentlemen, how are you since the last time we were here?
Better.
Good. Okay. Got
Bringing
it.
in.
Real enthusiastic. Let's give him a little bit of the fucking mistletoe or something. Right there. There it is.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
how do I get this shit full screen? Because this is going to piss me off.
We're learning.
We are. Sorry. All right, panic.
We're gaining knowledge.
All right, so week 18 is finally in the books. Dallas ended the season 12-5. As we know by now, and if you don't know by now, or for those of you who don't know by now,
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
yeah, spoiler alert. Dallas is playing at Tampa on Monday night, January, excuse me, fucking
Dude, yeah,
18th or
okay.
some shit like that. Next Monday. Um,
16th.
16.
9 and 7 is 16. That would be accurate. Okay. What did I say? 17? It's all good.
Yeah.
So with
Wasn't
that
right.
being said, um, Stash, how do you feel about going into Tampa in 7 days?
I mean, that's not the game you want to go off into the playoffs in,
This
but
dude's already gonna ruin the first podcast back. Why?
it's okay. I'm feeling okay.
Okay. All right. So who would you? Oh, let's just jump. I'm interested in this rabbit hole we're about to jump down. Who would you rather have drew, whatever the word is there, without, and you can't say you would rather have had the first seed, right? So assuming you had to
Seahawks.
play okay, but there wasn't really a path for that, right? I guess
They're the
if you
two
got the
seed.
second seed, sure. Okay,
Yeah, if you won in Philadelphia and lost, you would have gotten the two seed. You would have played Seattle.
I'll allow it.
Philly was never going to lose to New York, though.
Not after,
Be
not when
real.
the Giants decided to go with what, Davis Webb?
Yeah.
I mean, homie threw a
Spud
dime
Webb.
into the end zone to
No, he didn't.
come on, man. Your
He
Stash's boy
he
Slay
he
got
threw that
mossed.
ball. He threw that ball up in the air, like he lollipopped it up in the air.
That's
Isn't that
all.
the
Hey,
word?
man,
And
Whatever.
it was a touchdown.
It
Slay got
wasn't pretty.
mossed by T.Y. Hilton too a couple weeks ago. So
hmm
Seriously sucks. I've been saying it for years. Anybody that listens to this podcast, I listen to me ever talk, they know that's what I say.
Word. Okay, so Stash not very excited about going into Tampa. Will, how do you feel?
I'm excited because we're going to end Tom Brady's career.
You think he'll actually retire?
Yeah.
It's a bold statement. You want
He
to put a
owns every
12 pack
record
on
ever.
that,
He
or
brought he Yeah, fuck it, why not? We're
okay?
two
he's gonna
sixes.
retire on his only loss to Dallas Cowboys in his career.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think he retires. I do think Dallas wins. Spoiler alert. I guess too late for that, but
Wow.
um, I think he's got another year in him at I don't know San Francisco or some shit. I don't know wherever he goes. I don't think he's done there though.
San Francisco's got Brock Purdy. What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm
Legit.
not a GM. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he'll go to the Giants or something.
All right.
There.
I like the matchup. I mean, I know so Dallas lost to him obviously week one. It was an extremely ugly game, but I don't think that really compares to this current matchup, right? The teams are vastly different. Both teams have grown in two very different ways. I don't know. You could say Tampa has grown, right? Like they're falling apart. Um, as I look at their injury report, it's way past the dozen players that are considerably questionable to not play. So I'm okay with the matchup. I suppose I might prefer the Seahawks, I guess, like Stash said, but I think the more realistic path was with Tampa. So I
If
like
they
the matchup.
if they had the fifth seed and you could have picked any of the teams for them to play that won the division, who would you most wanted to play them to play?
That was a
So it would have
division winner.
been
Yeah. Tampa Bay,
T-
right?
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, and I
Philly.
suppose, nah, yeah, that's crazy cowboy talk. And then I would say Minnesota. I would even actually put Minnesota up on the same path as or same level as Tampa. I don't know. You've already beat them once, 40-3. They're probably the most fraudulent team in the NFC,
Yeah.
possibly the most fraudulent team in the NFL. Um,
Was it plus
I
10?
just-
Is that their plus minus plus 10?
I thought they were
Like
negative.
something like that.
Oh, okay.
Did they finally get on the positive the last game of the season?
Let me tell you, I'm on there. So
They were like negative 17 in week 17, and they lost to Green Bay, so there's no way they went positive there.
Hmm.
And I don't even
Oh
know
yeah,
who
maybe I
Vikings
did hear
at
-3.
-3, 424 points for, 427
that's got.
against.
That's one of the most fraudulent fucking playoff teams ever.
Well, yeah, yes, what you're saying is right because I mean they won every game I think or whatever by like one score or whatever, and then they got blown out by Dallas by
They got
30. Whatever,
they
yeah.
got massacred by the Cowboys, massacred by the Eagles, mollywopped by the fucking Packers that one game, and
Oh
they
yeah.
had 4 losses, right?
Lions. They lost the Lions.
Yeah, and I'm
Fighting
sure
Dan
the fucking
Campbell's
Lions fucking beat them down too.
mentally, physically.
Yeah, man, those poor Lions, man. They win their last game and don't even make it to the
They were so
playoffs.
close to get in because Seattle was playing the Rams
The
in
overtime joint.
overtime, and Baker underthrew the ball, had a dude wide open for a touchdown, and underthrew him to get picked in overtime.
R.I.P. All right, well, let's reel it back into the Cowboys going into Tampa. Will, what are you most concerned about going into Tampa, whether that be about the Cowboys specifically or maybe even Tampa Bay specifically? What are you most concerned about going into Tampa?
Uh, the fact that it is gonna be Tom Brady's last game.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
You know, because well, I guess that's talking out both sides of my mouth. I think I mean spoiler. I think Dallas is gonna win 2. But you know, Tom Brady's not going to go out without a fight, right? And the Cowboys on like their 9th, 10th, and 11th corners, beside next to Diggs. So you got to assume that Brady's going to do whatever it takes to just throw at that dude over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And Diggs probably not going to get a pass thrown at him the entire game. I would
Yeah,
guess.
it's going to be Chris Godwin versus whoever's over there at left corner.
Yeah.
Whether it's Bland or Wright or somebody.
And I don't have a. Well, actually, I mean, Bland and Wright have played, or Bland's played good all year. Wright's playing okay, but it's like when Trayvon Mullen gets on the field, or if it's was it Xavier Rhodes they just signed? I mean, if one of those, I mean,
Mullen's not touching he can't touch the field after Sunday's game.
Well, why'd they put him? Or I guess they wanted to see what they had. I guess
Well, they wanted to see it, but I'm just saying he got torched by Sam Howell like on 4 different occasions from like deep passes.
Yeah, no, I mean it wasn't pretty, for sure.
Yeah, he's also. I mean, what do you expect, right? He is your 4th corner, and that's after
20th
2
corner,
other dudes died, and they just picked him up off the fucking street packing groceries or something. Like, it's not everybody's Kurt Warner, right? Well, Stash, what about you? What's your biggest concern going into Tampa?
Kellen Moore in the run game.
Okay, do tell.
The run game of Tampa or the Cowboys run game?
No, Cowboys run game.
Okay.
I mean, for the last 4 to 6 weeks, the Cowboys run game has been awful, and a lot of it has to do with them running on first down over and over and over again and not getting anything, and the Dallas getting put behind the chains on offense and getting bailed out on third down. It can only they were statistically like in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 for like all of their third downs for the past 6 weeks and been getting them at like a 50 to 70% rate,
which is not
until
stand that long, right?
I mean, look at yesterday's game. They couldn't do anything. I mean, and that's what happens. Like, just when you do nothing in the run game and just run on first down and get stuck in 1st or 2nd and 11, 2nd and 9, you're just killing your offense.
Yeah.
So they need to figure something out where they're just not being as predictable.
Yeah, I think a lot.
I mean, and if you have to pass it on early downs and incompletion's fine, but you just can't be running it on first down every time and then running it on 2nd and 11 every time. It's just so dumb.
Before you answer, Steve,
say something.
Stash,
say it.
What would you? What's the main issue you think? The line, the running backs, because Pollard's been banged up. Zeke hasn't looked good. I mean, it's the fact that Bidaz isn't playing no more. I mean, what?
I think it's a combination of like the offensive line and then just the running backs being nicked up. Cowboy stubbornness.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that Dak, like, nobody's scared of Dak beating them, so they're just like, we got to go back to this block this run game, or what?
I mean, you can say what you want.
I'm just asking a question, that's all.
They're not afraid. He's been statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the league since he's been back.
Well, the Commanders weren't, that's for sure. I'm just feeling the fire, sorry.
Yeah.
All right, before we continue to go to that fire.
He was dog shit ass yesterday.
I would like to point out that Dallas has been stubborn running the ball on early downs for years, right? But I said this earlier in the year, and Stash, you said something crazy like they always run it on first down because it gives the other team something to fucking think about, or something crazy like that, or.
I didn't say it in regards to that. I said it in regards to trick plays. But
whatever. But I have definitely pointed out Dallas or Kellen Moore's, whoever it is, stubbornness to just run the ball for the sake of running it. It's disgusting that they just run it because it's like, it's first down. Like everybody else is running it on first down or something. I don't know. It's dumb. But a lot of it has to do with Terrence Steele's injury, right? Like that Terrence Steele's injury. Yeah, I said that right.
Yeah.
Has been huge, right? Like I don't. Even with Tyron Smith back at right tackle, I think there's been noticeable loss there.
I mean, up until yesterday, you may shit on him. Dak's been bailing him out on third down all year long.
Yeah.
He's been bailing Kellen Moore out, and Dallas has been playing with fire for the past 6 weeks now because, I mean, they have not been good, whether it's offensively one game or defensively the next. They've been playing with fire, and they got not lucky wins, but they fought for wins until yesterday where they just couldn't do it.
I also think so. I don't know how much Dallas was trying to win the game yesterday. And I say that because Dalton Schultz was their leader in targets. Excuse me.
Oh my.
I think CD might have been second, which isn't abnormal. He should be number one, but whatever. And then tied for third were like Noah Brown and some other fucking schmuck. My point being, right? Like I don't like. It seems if you're box score watching, if you will, that maybe they were just trying to feel out a couple of random plays just to see what they were going to get out of them. Vice actually try to win the game. I'm not using that as an excuse, but I think there is some merit to that argument that could be potentially true.
Whatever they were feeling out wasn't good, so don't even try to do it.
I mean, that's great though, right? Like if it turns out that was the case, they found out all those plays suck dick and they don't use them again. I understand it's not that easy, but maybe that's what they did get from that.
If it took them 18 weeks to figure out not to throw the ball to Noah Brown, then I don't know what they've been watching for the past 14 weeks.
So he was good for the first... second best wide receiver all year.
Stack's boy.
He's been been good.
Who's number two? I'm not saying it's a good thing that he's number two. I'm just saying he's been their number two receiver all year. And then maybe that's part of the problem, but I
was going to say, T.Y. Hilton's their number two receiver right now.
You know who could have been, though, right?
Jalen Tolbert.
Amari Cooper.
Coop. Who's having a pretty good season, by the way.
He's watching home. He's watching playoffs from home, so he got what he wanted.
Wilson could have been your number two receiver, too.
What? Cedric Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, could he have been a second number two receiver, though?
I think he's an upgrade from Noah Brown.
Yeah, but even if that's like that could be true, but that could also mean he's just not. You know what I mean? That you could be an upgrade at a number two receiver, but like you still might be a number four receiver, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Noah Brown a number four.
Not on the Cowboys.
Right. So, well, that's what I'm saying. Like Cedric Wilson is at least closer to a 2 than Noah Brown is, right? Like I don't know, like it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you want from me?
Fair.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, they said I know McCarthy said yesterday and today that like to burn the tape or whatever. They better not burn that tape. They need to fucking watch that tape and figure out what the fuck they're doing wrong.
Every day need to watch it. Yeah.
See this tape right here? Don't do this. Oh damn, dude! Georgia is beating down TCU.
Yeah.
It was 17-7 last I saw.
I don't
It's currently
expect
24-7.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought that game was going to be close.
No, I didn't. So I just opened up the ESPN
Yeah.
to get stats from the game yesterday, for the Cowboys game.
Cowboys.
For,
I mean, well, but like, I mean, all the offense and defensive. I mean, the defense played pretty good. I mean, you know, for the positions they were put in. I mean, that game could have been 21-0, like in the first quarter, right?
Yeah, 21-28 nothing. Yeah,
You
they
know?
had the ball in the red zone 3 times and was 7-0.
But what was up with the special teams though? You know
oh,
what I mean?
Turpin? Yeah, let's hear about it.
Well,
Sash.
Turpin
how's your boy Turpin yesterday?
bobbled the fumble, but Hall in anger drops. He fumbled the ball like on just a regular punt. They missed the extra point before halftime.
Apparently, that was a bad snap. Missed extra point I heard Broadus say that was a bad snap.
And and I don't know how much stock I'd be willing to put into the missed extra point, and I don't know how fair of a comparison this is, but the Commanders kicker missed 2 field goals, right? And I think they were complaining about the field as well.
But here's the thing with that.
So that at least evens out.
Kickers never miss field goals against the Cowboys, and I would have liked those 2 field goals to come next week instead of this week. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sure, but
wait, so they're playing in Tampa, right?
Yep.
So does Tampa have grass or AstroTurf?
I'm pretty sure they're grass. I'd have to look it up. I'm pretty sure they're grass.
We lost. Dallas is like 1-4 on grass this year.
Why is that even a statistic?
I got statistics about everything, man. What do you mean?
Yeah. No, you're right. I guess I'm upset I don't have that job. Okay, so we did some negatives. Will, what are you confident in with Dallas going into Tampa? If there's anything, yeah.
So the one thing I'd say that I'm kind of confident about is that we shouldn't have a problem with the run game because Tampa Bay sucks at the run game, and then so we also don't got to worry about Tom Brady escaping and running. So that's a positive because that's usually something that would give us problems in the past, right? Is teams that run the ball and teams that also have a mobile quarterback. I mean, Daniel Jones torch us. I mean, Hurts could hurt us. You know what I'm saying? Not too much. Does Purdy have any athleticism? I haven't seen him doing any running. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Those. I mean, like seriously, like Daniel Jones causes problems for the Cowboys because he could run. You know?
Yeah.
All right, but you know what I mean. So no, I'm not. Like the one thing we're really good at, or were good at the beginning of the year, was the pass rush. But even if they were humming now, I mean, Brady doesn't get sacked. He doesn't, you know what I mean? That he gets rid of the ball, so he would have negated that shit anyway. So I'm thinking, I'm not the defensive coordinator, but like, can Dan Quinn just say, all right, we're gonna rush 3, 4, we're never gonna blitz, and we need that extra safety on the field, like Anthony Barr or somebody's got to be off the field, and we need another safety or another corner on the field to try to help in the pass game because they're not going to get to him either way, right? So just rush Parsons and Lawrence and mix it up in the middle, whatever. Maybe we get lucky a couple times, whatever. But I mean, he's going to pick apart. So isn't it best off to have another safety or another corner on the field and hope that helps? It's not going to confuse them. They're not going to,
Well, that's why I think the opposite would probably be better, right? I feel like this is a game you bring an extra guy because he's going to get it out quick regardless, and he's probably going to pick apart any, half zone, half man, quarters, whatever the defensive secondary is playing. I mean, Brady's seen it all. That's why I think you bring the extra guy to make sure he's getting rid of it as fast as he possibly can. I'd rather
and then hope to rally tackle. You mean, or
yeah. I mean, okay. I'm not crazy about that style either, but I mean, he's not going to have 100% completion percentage. It's just not possible.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that attack. I'm good with blitzing. I'm good with all that as long as the offense plays the way to play against that.
Yeah, puts up points.
Either they got to put up points on the board, right, or they need to be able to run the ball so well that they can just eat up the clock, and then that's how they win that way. But they can't be throwing the ball and then these little 4-yard dink and dunk and not scoring. They need touchdowns, obviously.
Yeah.
So they need to play offensively according to how they're playing defensively.
Sure.
A little cohesion.
Flushing what you're shitting. Stash, do we dare ask what you're most confident in going into Tampa?
I don't know. I mean, there's not much to be confident about. I mean,
Wow.
I think you got to be confident that your defense played better last week and played better against the Titans. So that's 2 weeks in a row that they played pretty good. So that's something to go with. Obviously, I mean, you want your offense to be playing better, but
Okay.
I agree on with parts of both of what you said. I do think you need to bring pressure to get to Brady. But I think in order to do that, you need to have extra safeties on the field instead of linebackers. Just because you're not going to put out your fourth corner or anything like that, and I don't think you're going to want certain linebackers on the field this game. So play all your safeties that you can.
Yeah, I think I'd rather see. I mean, I don't know the coverage scheme behind it, but uh, just for the sake of putting names out there, I'd rather have Donovan Wilson, uh, Curse, and Mukwamu on the field if that prevents Trayvon Mullen getting on the field, or whatever that fourth corner is. I don't see why that can't be the answer, but again, it's also why I'm not a defensive coordinator in the NFL. So, excuse me.
Is anybody? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say regarding that too. I mean, I think I think there's more to be excited with the defense, especially with Hankins and LVE looking like they're going to play on Monday.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
with both of them on the field combined, it's a full yard rush defense better.
It's a lot too, yeah.
So, and supposedly, I don't remember who I was listening to, but they're saying like LVE was helped Damone Clark line up, like get him in the right positions, so he might get him to play a little better. And I know up until maybe the past couple weeks, so probably at least while LVE was on the field, Damone Clark hadn't had a missed tackle. So I don't know if that stat changed over the past couple of weeks without LVE, but I know at least when LVE was on the field, Damone Clark didn't have a missed tackle. So
where the hell is that's a hell of a stat right there.
Well, I knew for like at least 2 or 3 weeks ago he hadn't missed a tackle, so that's what I was going with.
Yeah, I'd actually heard the same thing. I am trying to find it, but it might prove more difficult.
I wonder if Parsons sees more linebacker.
I don't want him to. He needs to be rushing Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Anything you can do to make Brady uncomfortable, you need to do at this point. I mean, he's seen it all in coverage, so I wouldn't play coverage. You got to get him to get the ball out, and knowing that if you're gonna bring pressure and get the ball out, you need to get your hands up in the passing lanes to try to
tip it or
tip a ball, knock it down, whatever. Get him frustrated.
Got to get in his ass to get him frustrated. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Okay, well, since nobody's gonna ask me, I'll just tell you guys what I'm most confident in, and not that anybody.
Yeah, what are you most confident about there, Steve?
Most concerned about. Have you guys heard of the pattern yet?
Cowboys haven't lost 2 games in a row.
Well, that's part of it, right?
All right.
So let's see if I
can.
Oh,
and Tampa Bay too. Yeah.
I don't know if I can share this with you guys. Share screen.
I don't know. Somebody's gonna fucking DDoS you.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Cowboy schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and I'm pretty sure it's showing up on the YouTube video also. All right, so what we have here is 1 loss, 4 wins. 1 loss, 2 wins. 1 loss, 4 wins. 1 loss, 2 wins. If that pattern continues, okay, that's the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the next 4 games.
Super Bowl.
Takes them to the Super Bowl, baby.
But then that means we're going to lose the Super Bowl?
No, win the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, because that's the 4th game. Right. Okay.
So,
I mean, trust the pattern.
There you have it.
For sure. Pattern can't be wrong.
Can't be. Never is.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right.
Okay, yeah. Do you guys have any other thoughts, questions, concerns, comments on the matchup going into Tampa that you need to air out in case we don't have another episode before Monday?
Let me ask you,
Devontae
or
Turp and touchdown.
okay.
Kavonte Turpin's probably going to be the only player. I saw this on Twitter, so I will be stealing this. He's probably going to be the only player to make the fucking Pro Bowl in his first season and be cut in the same season. It's true. Again, I stole
Oh,
that. I don't remember where I saw it, but I wholeheartedly believe that.
I have a question for you, just because I
Yeah,
saw
great.
some people putting it out there, and it's just with the way they played against Washington, with quote unquote the division was still up in the air on the line, and if Dallas loses to Tampa Bay in a similar fashion to the way they played Tampa and lost that last game, is Mike McCarthy still the head coach the following next year?
Are you asking me? And
I'm
are you
asking both of you.
so? I'll break it out for you. I think he is the coach next year. I think that's what Dallas will do. I would say he needs to go. I get the whole. This is the first time there's been double-digit wins in back-to-back seasons since um, 95
Super
or
Bowl,
whatever the
yeah.
fuck it was. The first time there's been back-to-back playoff appearances since 2007, I think, or something like that, or '09, I guess, since that was the end of that run. Was that right? Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not enough to just get a ticket to the dance. I understand you can't win the Super Bowl every year. Um,
Can't.
I mean, I guess technically you could. There's not a rule saying you can't, but it hasn't happened yet. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, if Dallas gets embarrassed in Tampa, then I think he needs to go. I think regardless of what happens this year, short of winning the Super Bowl, I think Kellen Moore also needs to go. And depending how these games look, I would also be okay with moving on from Dan Quinn. You heard it
Okay,
here
so
first.
it's interesting that this got brought up because that was going to be my question. Was going to be, because I heard today that Dan Quinn, or they requested. It was the
Denver
Broncos
did, right?
requested. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you guys whether whatever happens, whether they win out or they lose in the first round or they win a couple and then go out or whatever. Who is back? Does it matter?
I think this is just me personally. I would do whatever you had to do to keep Dan Quinn.
Still.
Still, I mean, this will be back-to-back years, and this never or rarely happens where Dallas has led the league in turnovers on defense.
Okay, that's fair.
They've either
Is the defense looking as good though?
they're about where they were last year. I mean, at the start of this year, without the turnovers, because they didn't start getting the turnovers till like the in bulk till the later half of the season.
Yeah, yeah.
They were looking like a top 1-2 defense, but without the turnovers. Now they've a little fallen back a little bit, but the turnovers have jacked up.
I I also don't think, and not you, Will, or not you, Stash, but I don't think a lot of people have, like, everybody and their mother hated Anthony Brown, right?
Yeah,
Everyone, or I should say, a lot of people dislike Jordan Lewis.
yeah.
But guess what? They were wrong. Two, they hate Trayvon Mullen
True.
more than they hated those two dudes combined. Um, and
True.
I think those two losses at cornerback are just significantly bigger
Oh
than
yeah.
anybody could have really
It de-
Is it that
it
is it that
devastated.
we
pictured.
hate Anthony Brown, or is it just that Trayvon Mullen is that much worse than Anthony Brown? Because
Well,
Anthony Brown was not good.
Anthony
Maybe
Brown
they
was
just
having
need
a
better
rough
depth
year,
at corner.
but he was at least a starting caliber corner, right? Like, people like to hate on Anthony Brown, but I mean, last year he was a top 10 coverage corner.
Yeah, I'd probably say half the teams in the NFL would take him as their
Yeah.
second corner.
Right? Like, so people hating him for being I guess mediocre or average starting caliber corner were again wrong, and then two, just realizing, man, like, we missed that dude. and then we missed his backup because Jordan Lewis is gone, and
Yeah.
now we're on just corner number
Guys off the
5, and
street.
it's
Yeah,
just
guys off the
bad.
street.
Yeah.
Well, what really hurts is that whatever his boss man fat, whatever his name is just
Joseph, yeah.
boss man awful. He can just go. He's not going to make the team next year.
No, probably not. But like here's the thing is,
he can't. Well,
no,
his thing was special teams, and he gets penalties every time he's on the field in special teams. You can't. You literally can't put him on the field.
I mean, he had a good tackle yesterday in coverage on punt return or punt coverage. Just saying.
He just hasn't. It just sucks too. I mean, because it would obviously be a bad draft pick, or it is a bad draft pick, but it would be a lot easier to swallow if Brown and Lewis hadn't gotten hurt, because then we wouldn't have to ever see him. But now that we had to see him, he couldn't fend off Deshaun Wright and Deron Bland, and like I said, they're playing Mullen, on the field instead of him. I mean, that's just that makes it worse.
Mullen seeing the field before you, that's not good.
Yeah. So.
And that's probably why they signed Xavier Rhodes too, because they probably had a feeling, hey, if we put Trayvon Mullen out there, he's going to be ass, so we're going to need somebody else. And we've seen Rhodes at least. I mean, he has a history of being good. Mullen, I mean, he's probably on the latter half of his career, or latter.
Yeah, he's old.
25% of his
not
career.
That is everything, but
got to be better than them two. So
we're gonna find out.
Well, who do you think's gonna be back next year? Will, you never really said. You're the one that kind of.
Well, if they don't, in me, I'm the owner of the team. If they don't win one of the games, I think they can all go. I think Kellen Moore and McCarthy are tied at the hip because McCarthy doesn't want to do offensive play calling, right? So if he doesn't want to do offensive play calling, that's been his thing in the past. Like, I don't really need him as a manager on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole overseer or whatever. It's just that's how the league should be, in my opinion, is that whoever is the head coach should be taking control of the offense and the defense, right? I mean, I like McCarthy. You guys know at the beginning of the year we did our coach picks, and I probably had him like number 3 to 5 or something. I forget off the top of my head, or maybe I didn't like him, but at least I had him. That's where he just is, based on his qualifications or whatever, right? But I don't know, man. Like,
he's a very, very good.
Dan Quinn's got to show me something though, too, man. People got to get like, I don't know. They need to not get abused this weekend.
Yeah.
And I get it. The corners are gone and shit. We'll come up with a game plan, okay? You're the pro. Jerry paid you more money to come back so you'd stay and have a chance of maybe being the head coach next or whatever and shit. But like, when things aren't like at the best, like, you need to come up with some wild shit to make things happen.
Some funky shit.
Yeah. And if they can knock out Tom Brady and maybe this is the first year of his career where he didn't have a winning record. If they can knock him out, I mean, I wouldn't be happy them losing the next game, but at least they won a playoff game. They haven't won a road playoff game since like 95 or 92 or some shit like that.
They need to slay that dragon. If they don't slay that dragon, they're all going to be gone.
You want to hear some funky shit?
Yeah.
Trayvon Diggs is getting a sack off of
a blitz?
blitzing off the corner.
They need to do some things that they don't show, and Diggs never blitzes, right? So that wouldn't be a bad idea, whatever. And I'm serious. They might not throw the ball at him at all the entire game. They might. Why give him a chance? What if they throw the ball to Mike Evans, he punches it up in the air, and Diggs picks it off and goes 7, for 7. Well, they're not going to worry about Trayvon Mullen doing that.
No.
Right? So
he's going to throw it at his back.
Yeah.
Worst flag
I don't know. But if they lose, everybody got to go. If they win,
Mike McCarthy needs to prove that he's not just a good regular season head coach, because that's what he does. He wins in the regular season, but outside of 1 year with Aaron Rodgers, hasn't really won the big game.
It's true.
Unfortunately, that's almost every head coach other than Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying, like, he's like, if you looked at it, like, he's got a ton of seasons where he gets 12 wins, which usually means
right. You have a good team.
You're the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Or the 2 seed. And he's not getting like it's not even like they like got to the Super Bowl multiple times. They only got to the Super Bowl like once, right?
I think twice, right? They beat the Packers.
Who'd they lose to?
It might only be once. Then you're right. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, and I can't think of it. So maybe it was only once or whatever. Yeah, you might be. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think they lost in the NFC Championship game a bunch.
Yeah. Pulled to Andy Reid before he got Patrick Mahomes. Got it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that even because let's be honest, they're not gonna even if they made it to the Super Bowl. Like I think Dallas would be heavy underdogs, to, like 4 teams out of the AFC. So the realistically of them winning the Super Bowl is very low. But like we gotta hope. Like who does San Francisco play? They play Seattle.
The Giants.
Oh, the
No,
Giants. Yeah, Giants.
you're right. Seattle.
Seattle's probably. I mean, like that. I mean, we can't. If we play San Francisco, we're gonna lose that game. But we could beat everybody else. And we could beat San Francisco too because they're not that great, but like the chances of us beating them not very high. That would be the lowest of all the teams. And then we need some like fresh blood. You know what I'm saying? Some. I mean, I don't like Mike McDaniels, whatever. He seems like a clown to me, but like somebody of that young, just
Nathaniel
innovative,
Hackett.
different shit. Nathaniel Hackett. Yep, he was the game changer. You know what I'm saying? Like a Sean McVay, you know what I mean? Have the team, end up blow up everything up, and then as soon as it gets tough, leave. Whatever.
Sean Payton.
No, Sean Payton doesn't interest me at all.
I'm just saying if they're firing McCarthy, that's who it's going to be.
I'm going to take a 12er on that too. Yeah, same thing.
I'm just saying, but that's who it's going to be
just
though.
200 pounds later.
If they fire McCarthy, that's who it's going to be. 100%.
Let's get a 12er on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If they fire McCarthy, it's guaranteed Sean Payton. Okay. I get the field, you get Sean Payton. Got it. GG.
Yeah. It is GG.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. I'm going to wrap it up here.
All right.
We look forward to seeing y'all next time.
We're going to get back to more shows.
Oh, shit.